What's up everybody, Derek here, and today we're going to be tying fishing line onto a spinnerbait. And we're going to be tying one of the easiest knots. It was actually one of the first knots that I ever learned to tie onto a lure. So I used to tie it onto crankbaits and topwaters and my plastics and just about everything that I used to throw out in the water. I would tie this knot, and it's called the clinch knot. It's a really simple knot. And then after we tie this knot, we're going to go over a couple rigging techniques and tips. But what you basically want to do is take your fishing line and hold the spinnerbait. You want to use your index finger to your advantage. So basically just take it around the wire and put your index finger right in there. So you're just kind of holding it in there. And bring about 8 inches of line out. And now what we've got to do is we've got to go around the line 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, we looped it 5 times, so now you can see we've got an opening right there. So you take the tag end and take it through that little hole. And now what we've done is we've created another hole right there. You just take that tag end back through there, wet it, and cinch it tight. And that is a super strong knot. Especially with this braid, it's a great combination with those two together, but that knot will definitely bring you some fish to the boat. All right, some of my rigging techniques, or my tips I should say. I've got 2 swim baits that are really closely to being alike here. I got a big bite baits right here, and then I got a Zoom fluke, basically, swimming fluke. But it's got a paddle tail swim bait on the end there. And with that added vibration added to a spinnerbait can be so effective in so many different situations. Especially if you're wanting that bigger bite. It'll add that much more of a profile, make the bait larger. And if you look at the spinnerbait as it sits right here, that's a good size profile with the blades and everything. But if you basically take this and just put it on here and go in about 1 inch and just run it out, leave that just like that. Look at how much larger that profile is. Does that look like more of a bait fish swimming through the water with that wiggle of that tail just like that? And it adds that extra vibration to help those fish kind of hone in on it. So when you're just buzzing that thing along underwater and then all of a sudden you kill it and then bring it back, those fish are really going to hone in on it because of that difference in the cadence of the retrieve of the spinnerbait. And I can't tell you how many times I've caught bigger bass doing that on drop-offs and muddy water and twitching along big trees and just all kinds of different scenarios. But I know I almost all the time will have a swim bait on a chatterbait or a spinnerbait, and that's just the way that I kind of fish these now. But if you're going to fish a spinnerbait and it's going to be a 3/8 like this one is, and you're going to be on the creek or the river, sometimes you can actually downsize to a smaller little swim bait. This just happens to be a budget aisle Walmart swim bait that is actually a saltwater swim bait, but you can actually downsize it a little bit more, and this one's perfect with that chartreuse on the tail. But it'll help if those fish, you don't have a trailer hook on there and those fish are really kind of missing the hook on the backside, you can bring this up and make it a lot shorter of a bait and still get the vibration that you would out of the swim bait end, just not as long of a plastic. But anyways, those are just a couple of tips that I like to use. And if you don't want that complete vibration, you have a little bit more clear water and those bass are a little bit more finicky, you can actually take a fluke just to add a little bit more profile to that bait. And it won't add that extra vibration, but it will help those fish kind of hone in on it a little bit better. But let me know if these kinds of tips and other things like this help you guys out there. And thanks for watching, you guys, and subscribe if you haven't already. Like this video if you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.